Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships with Wadres, and today's video is going to be going over the 9.5 patch notes which were just put out today. And, well, let's just say there are some interesting things going on in this patch. First off, we have the Dockyard. For those of you who were around during the whole Puerto Rico debacle, a little over 6 months ago now, you'll understand what this basically is. This is the opportunity to build, in this case, 2 ships actually in the Dockyard. And, well, this is one of the more controversial features of the game in recent months as well. This round, you will be able to build the Admiral Graf Spee and the Odin, both of which are a Tier 6 and Tier 8 premium ship, respectively. Now, I've heard mixed things on this, but overall, according to what I've seen, Graf Spee, at least, you should be able to build in the Dockyard free of charge. It's the Odin that is going to be the fun part. You have 20 shipbuilding phases, but you will still need to spend some doubloons to finish the last 2 of 20 building phases. So, yeah. I mean, I suppose if the only thing you're interested in is the Graf Spee, awesome. And granted, 1,700 doubloons, or maybe even, what is that, more like 3,500 doubloons, really isn't too steep compared to the absolutely ludicrous, almost, what was it, 50,000 doubloons that they had wanted for the Puerto Rico at Tier 10. I mean, granted, the highest you're going here is a Tier 8, and it does provide an interesting change to some things. And I suppose if you're really, really interested in the Odin and getting her at a discount, or just don't get through all the directives quickly enough, that it will definitely be a something of a lure for players. Personally, I'm not sure I am even going to engage in all of this because, 1, I just haven't been playing too much, and 2, I remember that the Puerto Rico was an incredible time sink, even for those who did want to get the ship for free or as free as possible. So, yeah. We'll see what the overall actual requirements for going through the Dockyard and the shipbuilding phases actually is before I really make any sort of determination on that for myself. Combat missions are getting I'm going to say a nice update. You will get a option of 2 different tasks for some of the combat missions that are out there nowadays. You can now choose one or another instead of having to basically just grind out, say, 10,000 base EXP for a match. And this, I believe, will help out a number of co-op players especially by giving them tasks that are easier to complete, like sinking 10 ships versus earning 10,000 base EXP. Because those of you who play co-op understand fully that earning 10,000 base EXP is really an all-day sort of grind, and that's on a good day. So, we'll see how this plays out, but I think it's definitely a positive change. The combat missions are also getting a adjusted display, which definitely sounds reasonable. Now, according to what we're seeing in the little banner here, and this is going to be another nice change, apparently steel is also going to be an added bonus to some combat missions. So it will be interesting to see where that actually comes in, or what that's going to look like when it comes around. Personally, I think this is a nice change. It gives a actual steel income for players on a regular basis where it is possible. It takes it away from being just ranked battles or just clan battles, which understandably for some players is a big deal because some players do not feel capable or okay, maybe not capable. Not entirely sure what the word I'm looking for here is. Some players don't feel inspired, I guess I should say, to play ranked. Lord knows I'm one of them. And others may not necessarily have a clan that actively participates in clan battles either. So this actually creates a steel source other than the somewhat annual snowflakes, which is a good change in my opinion as well. The Armory is getting a interface update, which is for the better, I believe, because the Armory, as far as I've noticed, has been pretty glitchy of late. It usually takes me 2 or 3 times to actually try to open the Armory before it actually comes up properly. And, I mean, if it comes up normally once, it'll do it after that. But it takes 2 or 3 times for it to actually come up properly in the display. So, if it gets rid of that problem, I will be very happy. Looks like the tabs are also a little bit more, maybe a little bit more reasonable, recognizable, whatever. Overall, it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out as well. Now, here's another big one. Unique upgrades are getting a major change, or another overhaul. And this is something that's been needing some addressing for a while anyway, and they're finally getting around to doing so. So, let's start off with Yueyang. The Enhanced Armaments module for the Yueyang, for the 5th slot, the main battery reload bonus has been increased. Penalties to the action time of consumables have been removed. And there is an added bonus to the action time of surveillance radar, a bonus to the smokescreen dispersion, and but we are removing a bonus to torpedo reload. So, I mean, this definitely seems like it will bring out some of her characteristics a little bit more. I know that the Pan-Asian destroyers tend to be more gunboat destroyers than anything else, and they tend to rely on their surveillance radar and their somewhat creeping smoke for getting around and move and just getting in and out of trouble. And of course, the main battery reload is a big deal when engaging other destroyers, so that should be very, very helpful. Of course, the torpedo tube reload is going away on this bonus, so those of you who have this ship are going to see your torpedoes reloading a little bit longer, and that may be a downside. But when you consider that, well, from my personal perspective, considering that I don't really play these ships on a regular basis, hell, I haven't even made it above the tier 7, I believe, those deep water torpedoes, personally, to me, are really not that huge a deal. Again, you're just relying more on your gunboatiness than anything else, and that creeping smoke. But otherwise, I mean, I could see this definitely having a benefit to evolve her playstyle more in line with the design for the ship than the previous. Next, we have Khabarovsk getting the heavyweight artillery, also for the 5th slot. The penalty to traverse speed of the main turrets is being removed. Her bonus to firing range is being increased by 2%, which is a small change, but, I mean, 2%, an increase is still an increase. A 20% penalty to action time of ship's consumables. Now, that is a major nerf. Ow. Stronger emphasis on aggressive gameplay. What the fuck? I'm sorry, was that out loud? Personally, I would see that actually promoting more passive gameplay, because if your consumables aren't active as readily, or if they don't act as long, well, I mean, I suppose it would force aggressiveness, because I believe Khabarovsk gets radar. I could be wrong. So it would, I guess, it would force the Khabarovsk player to push in a little bit more, or play a little bit more aggressively, in order to make up for shortcomings in, like, detections. But this is also a big deal, because doesn't Khabarovsk also get the heal? Let me check this out real quick. Let's see, Russian. Khabarovsk. Consumables. Yeah, Khabarovsk can choose Repair Party or Smoke. So it would be a major nerf to the Repair Party, having that reduction to the consumable length. And it's also a nerf to the Smoke Generator. I mean, 20% reduction, that's 4 seconds off of this. That means it's only going to be active for about 16 seconds. So that is a huge nerf to, one, the detectability of the ship, or the survivability of the ship, depending on what you're looking at. Of course, there's also the engine boost, which, I mean, granted, that's active for 120 seconds, but now you're taking, what, 20 plus 4? You're taking 24 seconds off of there. That's a 96 second activity on your engine boost. And of course, the Repair Party also. It is, well, who cares about duration of Repair Party in some ways? But it's a shorter period of invulnerability, I guess you could say. So let's come... No, I did not want to do that. Let's come back into the news articles and find my place back in that article. Okay. So, yeah, that actually comes with some... I'm actually going to say some pretty extensive nerfs to the Khabarovsk in trade-off for a... I'm tempted to say negligible bonus to her artillery. I mean, that's... I mean, the only real bonus you're getting here now is a range increase. That's... personally, if it were me, I would not be going with this slot, because that's just getting a range increase for a 20% penalty to consumable action time. I mean, wow. That's a very substantial downgrade. I certainly would not go with it, personally. Let's see. Enhanced Countermeasures. Worcester. It has been moved to a higher value slot. The bonuses to consumable action time has been removed, but the reload of priority AA sector has been reduced. The reload time of consumables has been reduced, and the consumables have been increased by 1 charge with this consumable, or with this upgrade. So this is an interesting change. You're losing action time, but you're gaining reload time on AA and ship consumables, so you can get your consumables out there more frequently, and you're getting an additional charge. So, I mean, this is interesting, because Worcester has quite a number of consumables that she can fit. So, I mean, yes, you're losing some of the action time, but you're gaining a charge again, and you're gaining the rate at which you can put them out. So this is actually an interesting, I guess, a side buff from what it was before. Again, I don't have the Worcester. I can't make any particular determination here, but it does sound like it's an interesting change, and probably for the better, because I know one of the biggest issues people had with her slot before was that the action time increase was so powerful that she could basically almost control an entire sector of the map. Now she's not going to be quite as active in that role, and destroyers, especially with her radar, are going to be a little bit better off. I mean, we'll see how it plays overall, though. The Des Moines is getting an enhanced propulsion. I don't know if it's being renamed or just retasked or whatever. But it will have an interesting effect. Okay, so there's a reduced bonus to engine power. It will take her longer to get to maximum speed, even with Propulsion Mod 1 added on. And 3 times as long to reach backward speed. This makes this ship a major pusher if she actually gets into combat, because nobody's going to want to slow down. Now, according to this, she will still get to maximum speed faster with the upgrades mounted as opposed to just 1. But it will... it's... I mean, that still sounds like it's a nerf over the previous upgrade, from what I can tell. There is, however, a removal of the penalty to the action time of surveillance radar. So her surveillance radar will now act longer. I'm not entirely sure what to make of this one, honestly. But, I mean, I don't know. Again, this is another one that I actually do not have, so I have no frame of reference. I have no way of actually being able to say specifically whether this is a better or worse, except for the fact that now it's going to contend directly with firepower improvements. So, I mean, I suppose the firepower would, at least for me personally, be a little bit more enticing than going with this one. Moving on, we now have the Grosse Kurfürst. Her slot is getting a little bit of a nerf buff sort of scenario. The reduction to main battery reload has been reduced from 15 to 10%. So her main battery now only reloads 10% slower rather as opposed to 15%. This gives her main battery a little bit more capability, as it were. And it also reduces the traverse, or it removes the penalty that affects the traverse of her main battery. Now, I do actually have the Grosse Kurfürst. Let's find her real quick. No, I'm not in sub-battles. Oh, come on, where are you? There we go. Okay. Well, that took an inordinately long amount of time. Where is... Let me make sure I actually have the proper commander on this ship, too, because that's gonna... Okay, so as it is right now with the Grosse Kurfürst and her current... Do I even have it? Actually, no, I don't have the Grosse Kurfürsts. Interesting. Okay, so... Anyway, her artillery, as opposed to where she is right now, her 180 degree rotation time would actually go up to about 35 seconds, which honestly isn't that bad when I think about it. Okay, maybe more like 36 seconds, but still not that bad. Or, no. That was talking about the reload time. 10%. So that bumps her reload up into the 35, 36 second range. That's still actually not too bad from my perspective. Apparently there is a current reduction to main battery traverse time, so the 180 degree traverse time is going to stay as it is. So I actually think that may be something that I would go for, because to my understanding, her current upgrade does also still have an effect on her secondaries primarily, and I believe the change is to give it that more distinct focus towards the secondaries, while at least retaining some of her main battery capability. It is to take away from her being reliant almost severely, to some degree, on her secondary batteries. And yes, I'm actually taking a little bit of side time here to look and make sure that I'm right on my information here. Yeah, come on, load, damn it. Okay, so coming back into the news article. Back through and past all of this. Okay, list of changes. Damage control, main armaments. There we go. Okay, so this only affects the main battery reload. The secondary batteries are still retaining a 15% bonus to reload. So it's still enhancing the secondary armaments, but it's not taking away from the main battery too much. Especially considering that, it still wants to show a focus towards the secondary batteries, but it doesn't want to take away from the main battery too much, especially with the traverse. And I suppose that's where you're getting your trade-off. Your reload is being cut a decent bit, apparently, but you're still going to be able to keep her guns on target, and that's a big deal. So, yeah, we'll see how that plays out overall. Let's see. Enhanced damage control system for Montana. I believe this is one that I actually do have. But what it does is the fire extinguishing time has been increased now. So it's actually getting a pretty substantial nerf to this entire module. Coming over into U.S. battleships, there's the Montana. So we are still retaining the rudder shift and the steering gears as far as I can tell. It's just that the fire extinguisher and flooding recovery have been nerfed substantially. They're going from a minus 15 to a minus 10 and minus 30 to a minus 10. So she is going to be substantially more susceptible to both fire and flood with this upgrade being nerfed as it is. Again, there does not appear to be any change to the rudder shift or the steering gears that I can tell according to this article. So, but I guess it will make it just a little bit more balanced, and I suppose that's a good thing in its own right. It's not going to be quite as powerful. It will certainly have other contenders at that location, because now you would also have the possibility maybe of looking more at the ship consumables, or maybe concealment or torpedo lookout system, as opposed to basically just a slight reduction to extinguishing or flooding and improved rudder shift. Personally, I think I'm still going to go with the enhanced damage control, just because I like my ship to be particularly maneuverable. And, well, fires and floods are kind of the bane of existence for battleships. So anything that reduces that, personally, is a major, major bonus. Oh, come on, load, damn you. No, I do not want to go there. I want to go to news. Thank you. The last one that is getting a change... Actually, no, there are two more getting a change. The Republique is a penalty to the traverse speed of her main turrets is being removed. So that sounds like a relatively nice bonus to any Republique player. I don't have the Republique, so I don't know offhand what the other bonuses are, and I really don't feel like looking that one up too much. But again, this just sounds like it's a straight-up bonus anyway, because again, your main battery is just going to traverse that little bit faster. And of course, Shimakaze, her unique upgrade is getting a slight bonus as well. The penalty to torpedo traverse has been decreased from 80% to 70%. Now, this is a small change, but when you consider the fact that this is a basically 10% improvement on the traverse speed of her, or actually by rough comparison, a 50% improvement to the traverse speed of her torpedo tubes, that's going to make her a little bit better off with that module now than she was before. I do remember seeing some gameplay of somebody who had the Shimakaze unique upgrade module on, and just the traverse speed of those torpedo tubes with that module fitted was painfully slow. So that's going to be a definite quality of life improvement to anybody who has the Shimakaze with that module applied. It actually makes it does seem like it will actually make it a little bit more competitive, or, well, maybe not necessarily competitive, but usable, user-friendly. So it is a nice change there. Again, it's one that I don't have, but it definitely at least makes it a little bit more appealing, because now the torpedo tubes aren't going to be like sluggishly slow, if that makes any sense. Now, the next thing we're looking at here is Soviet cruisers. The new Soviet cruiser branch will be fully implemented. The Tier 10 will be brought into the game. Moskva is being replaced by the Alexander Nevsky, and Kirov is being replaced with the Kotovsky. The one thing that is not addressed in this article... there we go. Okay, so it does at least address it. That was my concern on the first look through. I didn't actually pull down through here. Or I didn't see this details on the changes before. So, okay. So those of you who already have the Moskva in your port, or actually let's come right out and say anybody who has the Moskva researched, the ship will be provided to you. The ship will be replaced in your port, hands down, end of story. If you have her researched, you will receive Moskva. But the ship has to be researched. You can have her sold. You can have the branch with the Moskva reset. And you will still receive the Moskva. As long as she has been researched once, you are going to receive the new premium or special ship version of the Moskva. Boom, done. You will have her. The only way you will not be getting the Moskva is if you do not already have her researched in the tech tree. The other nice bonus here is that if you have sold the Moskva, you will also get her, because again, you have already researched her. Now, one of the things that is not discussed is any sort of reimbursement for having the ship in your port and transferred over. So those of you who are actually watching this video today, this is actually a good thing for you to be hearing, because the only way you're actually getting any credits to your account for having this ship in your port is if you sell her before the update goes live. Otherwise, you will get the new ship, but no credits. So, if you have Moskva, before the update goes live, sell her. That way you get the new version of the Moskva, plus the doubloons, or not doubloons, the credits relative to her sale cost. So just keep that in mind. And by the way, the same is true of Kirov. The Kirov is also going to be replaced by her tech tree version. And you will also have the Kirov, the new premium version, supplied to you. So again, just like with the Moskva, sell the Kirov. You have her researched. If you have her, sell her. And you will get the new version plus the replacement in your port. As far as the Moskva goes, if you have her premium camouflage, you will not be receiving any compensation for already having the premium camouflage. But if you did not have it previously, it will be added with the new version of the ship. We have a new ranked sprint season going on in 8 versus 8 at Tier 8. Looks like 10,000 coal. I mean, those of you who have been through ranked sprint understand these rewards, so I'm not going to go over that too much. Clan brawls, 3 versus 3 at Tier 10. Again, as far as I'm aware, this isn't too much of a major change from any of the prior arrangements there. There is going to be a Tier 8 clan brawl in 4 versus 4. And this is going to encompass aircraft carrier, destroyer, cruiser, and battleship, as opposed to battleship, cruiser, and destroyer for the Tier 10. But beyond that, it doesn't seem to be much of a change there. Let's see. The Raptor rescue maps, or for that matter, all of the all of the operation maps are getting the new lighting system, as well as a couple of ports are also getting the new lighting change. There are also a couple of changes occurring on Greece and Sleeping Giant. Some islands are getting a height change on the right flank. And apparently there's some openings near the spawn points that are being closed up. On Greece, the gap on this island here at Capture Point Alpha is being adjusted to basically prevent spotting situations where one ship was able to spot but not be detected at spotting ranges. So I guess that does seem like it's at least a quality of life improvement for anybody on these maps. Personally, I can't say I've noticed that too much, but I also haven't exactly ended up on these maps in this particular area too often. So, I mean, maybe it's... but for those who have had issues with it, I suppose, this does make for a nice change. Of course, daily shipments are a thing. That's just getting just posting what they're actually offering. And then, of course, there are other little minor changes and improvements. Valkyrie's main battery reload is being increased to 5.8 seconds. Weymouth's base main battery reload is being increased from 8.9 to 9.2 seconds. Hawkins' main battery reload is being reduced from 13 to 12.6 seconds. New York's main battery reload is going from 31 to 30.5 seconds. Ognavoy, the defensive AA consumable, is being moved to a separate 5th slot. Torpedo speed is getting a bonus, a 1 knot bonus from 56 to 57 knots. And the engine boost and smoke generator consumables are being reduced from 3 to 2 charges. So you've got a couple of... I mean, I guess you've got like a side bonus with the DFAA there. You've got a slight buff with the torpedo speed increase. But you have a nerf, a straight-up nerf with the removal of charges to the consumables. Udaloy, the stock torpedo module, is being replaced by another one, 5349M. I really don't know what the difference is there. But it is a straight-up buff. At least depending on how you look at it. Because her torpedo range is getting a 2-kilometer increase. However, the speed of the torpedoes is getting a 3-knot nerf, going from 69 to 66 knots. So that's what's going on. The stock torpedo module is being replaced by the upgraded torpedo module, and then the upgrade torpedo module is getting changed to the 5339 Mod 4, where the range of torpedoes increases from 8 to 10 kilometers, but the torpedo speed is getting a substantial reduction to 60 knots. However, the torpedo damage is getting a increase from 14,600 to 15,100. But again, another nerf, where the torpedo reload time is going from 129 to 134 seconds. So yeah, going to be interesting to see how that plays out. It seems like Udaloy's getting some bonuses, but some nerfs as well. The DFAA has been moved to 5th slot, just like with the Ognavoy, and the number of charges has been reduced from 3 to 2 here as well. For Grozovoy, DFAA and engine boost consumables have been swapped. So does that mean she's getting DFAA instead of engine boost, or engine boost instead of DFAA? I don't have the Grozovoy, so let me look here real quick. Yeah, I realize I'm bouncing in and out of the tech tree for some of these things, because some of these things I don't actually have. So that was Grozovoy. Consumables. Okay, so it just looks like their locations are being switched. The DFAA is moving over to slot 5, and engine boost is being moved into slot 2. Okay. But unlike the others in that same line, the Udaloy and the Grozovoy, the Udaloy and the Ognovoy, there is going to be no removal of slots or consumable charges. So she isn't being nerfed in that regard. I don't know if that's a change that went through previously or not, but okay. Either way, it definitely seems like she's getting some, I guess I should say, side changes. Nothing really outstanding there as far as I can tell. Oh, she is getting one major bonus. Well, maybe major, maybe minor. The torpedo damage for the researchable torpedoes is being increased from 14.6 to 15.1. So I guess quality of life improvement with the consumable positioning and a slight buff to torpedo damage. Hakuryu is getting a nerf. The bomb damage of standard and researchable bombers is being reduced from 8,500 to 8,200. So, yet another rag on aircraft carriers, but the Hakuryu has armor-piercing bombs. So this is really only, I suppose, affecting ships that are actually fully penetrated and get citadel damage from these bombs. Still a bit of a nerf, and I'm... Why... Okay, whatever. I'm not going there. Just plain not going there. Okay. German Destroyer T20. Action time of hydroacoustic search is being improved, so it's a buff to the action time of her hydroacoustic search, going from 60 to 70 seconds. That's a small quality of life improvement. As far as the Kremlin goes, she is getting a further nerf to her AA, going from 413 continuous damage to 395. It's a slight nerf there. And the number of explosions in AAA salvo is going from 9 to 8. I believe the previous patch saw that go from 10 to 9, so further nerfing the Kremlin's overall AA capabilities. But considering, to my understanding, she's basically been like this absolute no-fly zone, and that's not something that Wargaming really wants, that I suppose is a quality of life improvement for other players, while being a nerf to the Kremlin. Let's see, Aviation, we're seeing a further adjustment here. Spotting range is going, for all aircraft, is being reduced from 16 to 15 kilometers. I'm not sure what this is actually changing. Okay, according to this, it's affecting the maximum range at which an aircraft can spot a ship. So I suppose that's a nice bonus. I suppose it will help ships that are hiding behind islands with a spotter in the air. I don't know. But anyway. The armor pen... Now here's a big buff, and this is a big one for German destroyers. The penetration capacity of the German destroyers' HE shells. We are going from 21 to 32 millimeters of penetration for the HE shells of 128s, and the armor penetration of 150 millimeter shells is going from 25 to 38 millimeters. These are major changes that allow these destroyers to be effective against basically bow and stern of battleships and cruisers at equal tiers or above. The Ernstgeide, I mean, this allows them to basically be able to affect cruisers and destroyers as well as battleships across all tiers from the Ernstgeide all the way up to the Z-52. Very interesting change here. It is a buff and definitely something that these destroyers have needed for a while. In fact, I'm very much looking forward to my Z-52 actually being able to penetrate the bow and stern of the Yamato without needing IFHE or anything like that on her. Personally, although I don't think I actually had that on her in the first place, let me make sure here. Z-52... Yeah, I never really used IFHE on any of these ships anyway, so, I mean, that's a nice bonus. Being able to now penetrate without having to actually consider having that on there before. So, I suppose what this is doing is giving them a little bit more utility and a nice little bit of a change to their utility as well, I might add. It definitely goes a little bit more in line with the identity of the German ship lines too. So it is a nice change and definitely something that's needed. Personally, I think there may be a couple of other changes needed for the German destroyers to make them a little bit more competitive, maybe in regards to their smoke consumables. Just like an improvement to their smoke or whatever. But it's definitely nice to see them getting a little bit of love. It's been a long time since we really truly saw the German ships actually getting any real love in this game. So, nice to see that coming along. As far as new content, there is a collaboration with Warhammer 40,000 coming along. And that is going to be primarily with a couple of premium ships. Ignis Purgasho and Ragnarok, which are basically Amagi with special camouflage. Let's see, there will be a couple of commanders added for the collaboration. There are going to be a couple of expendable camouflages, a couple of special patches, a couple of special flags, and there will be some containers that will be added. I guess the two major factions in Warhammer 40,000 are Chaos and Imperium. I've never played it personally, so I really don't know what any of this actually is. And I'm sure anybody who's a fan of Warhammer 40,000 is basically driving their heads into their desks right about the moment. But I've never played it. I've never gotten into it. I've never, honestly, in some regards, with the exception of, I think, a Warhammer 40,000 version of the... the KV2 in World of Tanks. I'd never even heard of Warhammer 40,000. So, yeah. There's that. Let's see. Ships. Kirov and Moskva are being added to the ships for resources in the Armory. And the Shikishima, which is the 20-inch main battery version of the Yamato, they are being added to the Armory as well. Kirov is being added for 43,000 coal. Moskva is being added for 244,000 coal. Shikishima is being added for 32,000 steel. Siegfried is being added to the Research Bureau for 47,000 research points. And Aegir is being added to the Tech Tree for 1,000,000 EXP. These, I believe, are the super heavy cruisers for the German line. Let's see. Also, premium ships Ludendorff and Erich Lowenhart are being added for testing. This is a Tier 6 premium aircraft carrier and Tier 9 premium battleship. So we'll see what those look like as time progresses. Let's see. Permanent camouflages are being added. Let's see. Kleber is getting a French Navy. Victorian White for Goliath. Freedom for California. Is California actually in the game? Is California in the game now? I haven't been keeping up with this too much. If it is, awesome. Maybe I should look into her. Let's see. Also, Nordic camouflages are being added for Aegir, Odin, and Siegfried. A new made of steel camouflage is being added for Yamato, Des Moines, and Shimakaze. And these are, well, go figure, they're camouflages for steel. They provide the standard bonuses, but will allow you to have a unique appearance, I guess. But personally, I guess if you have the expendable steel, sure, go for it. But me personally, seeing as steel is something of a precious commodity, I think I'm going to be focusing on ships first. Especially since I'm still looking at the Summers as far as my next steel ship. So, yeah. That's, to me, this just seems a little bit extravagant, but for those of you, I guess, who have the steel to spare, all power to you. Let's see. Commanders are being added with special voiceovers as a Holo Live collaboration. And another commander, Ashley Violet, is being added. Again, I know nothing here. So, let's see. Of course, other little minor changes and improvements. Let's see. A video about the update will be played after the game client is launched. Let's see. Small changes are being made to the textures and geometries of a extremely long list of ships. These are basically just cosmetic improvements, so I'm not going to go over that too much. Let's see. Supported game client localizations are now available in all regions. Bot-piloted aircraft carriers will no longer launch air squadrons without having at least one full attack flight. So, I guess what this means is if you have a aircraft carrier that's on the map, a bot on co-op maps that have gone through all of their aircraft, they're going to wait until they have at least one full attack set. So, like with the Hakuryu, she would wait to have at least 2 aircraft that are available for an individual attack for, say, the torpedo bombers. Or with the Midway, it would wait until she had 3 torpedo bombers or 3 dive bombers or whatever the actual size of the attacking flight is. I suppose this is a little bit of a nice bonus because, one, you're not going to be sitting there waiting for an aircraft carrier to... okay, let me rephrase that. You may sit there waiting for the aircraft carrier to actually put planes out, especially if you're trying to get plane kills, but you're not going to see it just repeatedly launching a single dive bomber in the later stages of the match. It will actually just continue launching out whatever it has the most of, I guess. So that's actually a little bit of an improvement, I suppose. Let's see. Ultra client option has been removed. Ultrasound settings are now available to all players. Game size is unaffected. Special message informing clan members about selected prime time as well as who chose the selection. Fixed an error resulting in incorrect acquisition range for Hydro on Piotr Bagration. And I'm reasonably sure I utterly bastardized that pronunciation. Assured acquisition of enemy ships is increased from 4 to 5 kilometers. Range of assured acquisition of torpedoes is increased from 3 to 3.5 kilometers. Wow, this thing can pick up torpedoes from space. Holy shit. Let's see. Fixed error causing aim point to move to the maximum range with a locked target and binocular view upon activating spotting aircraft. Fixed an error causing marker for gun aiming point to minimap disappearing. Error causing torpedo range of aircraft carrier squadrons to not appear. Shell models to keep moving even after colliding with landscape. Error causing game to close when connecting to a battle that had just ended. Fixed an error causing window where ship bots are added to the training room to close when attempting to add several at once. Fixed an error causing game client to terminate unexpectedly during loading stage. Fixed error that prevented playback of audio message about torpedo hits for certain voiceover mods. Fixed an error causing new marker to not disappear from the tech tree tab and display player name in the port. Let's see. Fixed an error causing the autopilot to work incorrectly after a tangential collision with an island. Okay. Fixed an error causing experience points to not be shown in, or ship XP to not be shown in spectator mode. Fixed an error that resulted in upgrades mounted on ships to still be displayed after they had been sold. Interesting. Fixed errors on Sleeping Giant, Crash the Zone, Greece, Northern Lights, Hotspot, Killer Whale, yada yada yada. As well as in St. Petersburg and Fjords. Removed decorations. Okay. So just some error and decoration removals there on those maps. Let's see. It changed the name of the torpedo module on Mikoyan from 53 to 36 mod 2 to 5336 mod 1. Fixed an error causing the text of submarine depth indicator to be truncated. Fixed an error causing audio of attack aircraft rocket explosions and aerial torpedoes hitting the water surface to be excessively loud. Fixed error causing mounted upgrades to be displayed on sold ships. I can see how that would be problematic. Fixed an error causing main guns to reach an elevation angle too high when aiming at islands beyond their maximum firing range. Fixed an error causing co-op battles fought on Greece in domination mode with 4 key areas to commence with an incorrect number of points. That would be problematic. Fixed an error causing the camouflage of Admiral Makarov to be different in the icon on the ship carousel compared with the ship model in the port. Okay. Fixed an error causing the battle type icons to overlap each other when low screen resolution had been selected. Fixed an error that allowed the selection of more than one aircraft carrier when creating a division in submarine battles. Yeah, I can see how that would be problematic. Let's see. Fixed an error causing the game client to freeze when player was redirected to another server during maintenance. Let's see. Fixed incorrect armor thickness of Amagi's conning tower. I can see how that would be slightly problematic. Fixed incorrect aiming angles for Alsace and Normandy's secondary guns. I can also see how that would be a little problematic for Alsace and Normandy. So, okay, anyway. Anyway, that is it for update 9.5. Lots of big things going on this patch, to not put too fine a point on it. Anyway, I hope this has been informative for you all as far as outlining the changes that are coming along, and I hope some of you or all of you get the opportunity to benefit from it. On that note, I shall go ahead and let you all go. Hope you all take care. Stay safe. Happy hunting, people.